making directories and changing into directories and listing the contents of directories and moving around with directories is thrilling, but we almost always also want to be able to make files on the command line. This course, we're talking a lot about text files, and so we're going to be looking at text editors on the command line. You have probably used Visual Studio Code at this point, and it's a really excellent text editor, and you can actually use it to edit remote files, but I want us to be able to get a sense of how to use command line text editors in this course. There are a lot of different command line text editors, but I'm going to tell you which text editors to use in this course, and the text editor that I'm going to tell you to use is called Vim. This is a command line text editor it's been around for a long time. So once you've got your terminal open and you're connected to a computer that has Vim installed, you can type Vim on the command line and press enter. And you should see something like this. Vim is a text-based text editor. This is something that's running in your terminal, and the way that you are going to interact with this text editor is also using your keyboard. So if I click on stuff here, it's not going to do anything because this is a command line based program. So I have to use my keyboard to interact with this program. To quit Vim, so we've started Vim and now it's sitting here and it's kind of waiting for us to do something. To get out of Vim, we have to press colon on our keyboard. So you'll notice that down here, this colon has appeared, and now there's this bar that's waiting for me to type input. I'm going to press Q, and I'm going to press enter. This actually tells you how you can get out of Vim right here to exit. So I'm going to press colon and Q, and press enter, and now I've left Vim. I'm going to open up Vim one more time. Vim has a couple of modes. So Vim is called a modal text editor. It has something that's called normal mode. That's what we're in right now. Normal mode is a way for us to interact with Vim as a text editor. So I want to be able to give it commands like I want to be able to save my file or I want to be able to quit the program. We're going to edit files by entering a different mode that's called insert mode. I'm going to quit Vim one more time here. So that's the colon Q mode in normal mode to exit. And the way that I want to interact with Vim this time is by typing in the name of the file that I want to edit. So when I say vimhello.md, this is saying that I'd like to edit a file that's called hello.md. If you have a file that's already called hello.md in your directory, it will open that file. If you don't have a file that's called hello.md in your current directory, it's going to create that new file for you. So I'm typing vim hello.md and I'm going to press enter. And here we can see there's nothing inside the file, but it also helpfully tells us that this is a new file that we're interacting with. To get into insert mode, we have to press I on our keyboard. So I've typed I on my keyboard, and what you can see right here is that we've entered insert mode. Now this text is telling us at the bottom, the status is telling us that we're in insert mode. And I can start typing. So hello world. I'm typing in Vim. Vim is a command, and if I'm using Markdown, I'm going to wrap that command in those backticks to say that this is a command or some kind of code. I'm going to press enter a couple times. I'm going to start editing a Markdown file. Markdown is great. I really love Markdown. To get out of insert mode, I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard. So down here, we're currently in insert mode. I'm going to hit escape. And now that insert is gone. There's a couple things we can see here. One is that there's a plus here. What that plus says is that this file has been edited since you opened it. I want to be able to save the file. There's no menu for me to click. I can't click File Save. I can't press Control S on my keyboard. I cannot press Control S on my keyboard. I have to give Vim a command to say, write this file out, save it. So in normal mode, make sure that there's no insert down here. I need to press colon and then W. W says write. I want to write this file out. So I'm going to press enter. And now it says hello.md, new. This was a new file when it was written, has been written out. So it's been saved. I can also do quit now. So I want to exit Vim, and I'm going to type ls. And now we can see that there is this file that's called hello.md in my current directory. One of the things that we pretty commonly want to do with Vim is copy and paste stuff into Vim. So I'm going to open up Vim one more time here, and I'm going to open up a new program that's called world.py. So I'm going to open up something that's going to be a Python script. In Python scripts, white space is important. So things like tabs and things like enter or blank lines between things are a really important part of the programming language. If I open up my web browser here and I do a search for some Python code, so I'm going to search for, I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to generate some code for me. So please generate a hello world program in Python that uses click and rich. Click and rich are two Python libraries that you can use to interact with things. This is pretty good. I'm going to say I'd like you to use or to show something special when the person is named Walter. Walter is the name of my cat. So I'm going to copy this code, and I'm going to go back to my terminal in Vim. I'm in normal mode, so I'm going to hit I on my keyboard to get to insert mode. I'm going to paste. To paste in Windows, you can actually just right-click, or you can press Control-Shift-V on your keyboard. It will also do the same thing. On Mac OS, you can use the Command key and V to paste into your terminal. One thing that you can notice sometimes is that if you paste something into Vim, it will try to helpfully, especially code, it will try to helpfully insert a bunch of new line characters and tabs and stuff, trying to keep things indented correctly. This is working okay for me right now when I paste into this, so I pressed Control-Shift-V on my keyboard. If you find yourself in a state where things are kind of going slanty because you keep getting a bunch of tabs added, what you can do is in normal mode, so I'm going to hit escape to get back into normal mode, and I'm going to press colon, I'm going to type set paste. This tells Vim that I'm going to paste something when I'm in insert mode. Now that I'm in paste mode, I'm going to hit I on my keyboard to enter insert mode. Now you can see that there's this special mode called paste here. If I press Control-Shift-V on my keyboard again, I'm going to paste it, and it looks just the same as it did before for us in this example. But in cases where you have this, it looks a little bit slanty because it keeps inserting a bunch of tabs. This will help us out. So I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard to get back to normal mode. And I'm going to hit colon and then set no paste so that I can continue working with this. When you enter paste mode, it changes some of the ways that Vim is working. And so exiting paste mode is an important part of that. I'm going to write this out. So press colon W, and then I'm going to press Control and Q to get out. Vim is a fully featured text editor. All we've really done is enter insert mode and then get back out of insert mode, but there's so much more that Vim can do. There are keyboard shortcuts to do pretty much anything that you would want to do in Vim. So like cutting and pasting text between different parts of the same file, moving around to different parts of the same file, or selecting arbitrary parts of a file. I would really strongly suggest that you take a look for a cheat sheet. This is the way that I got to learn Vim. Print it out and keep it beside you when you're using Vim, just to help remember what all the different commands are. And then eventually you will stop using the cheat sheet because you're just going to be comfortable with the commands. There are other text editors that are available to you. So a couple of the other command line text editors are things like Nano. So that's N-A-N-O. Nano is a text editor for the command line. And another one is called Emacs. Emacs is a command line text editor. We're going to use Vim in this course. I'm going to insist that you use Vim, but as you go forward in your life, you're of course free to choose any text editor that you like, and that can include things like Nano, Emacs, or VS Code.